he would have, I mean, had he got through the 8th inning, I was going to let him start tonight, depending on what the 8th inning looked like. You know, if he walked a couple guys and got up there pretty high, I wasn't going to visit the Johan Santana scenario again. I can tell you that.
From a sheer stuff standpoint, I mean, it seemed like he was painting with 95, 96, locating the curveball perfectly. I mean, obviously, it would seem that was the best he's looked all year.
You know, I mean, I certainly have nothing to, you know, I don't have no reason to think this, but, you know, like I said before the game started tonight, you know, after his last start, he came to me and he said, look, I really needed that. I needed to be lengthened out a little bit. And he said, I needed to get some better rhythm. And so, did it help? Maybe. I don't know. Only he can answer that. But he was, you know, after the first hitter, he was outstanding. Just made every pitch he had to make. He started to get tired, obviously, in the, you know, in the heat and the pitch counts. But he was really good, really focused, and really exciting to see it today. And you know, I sat there and thought, you know, with the way Jake pitched last night and Steven today, and certainly we've seen Noah. You know, those were all the things we thought we were going to get to see a lot of this summer. You know, then the ugly bone spurs have routed their heads, and you know, things weren't the same. But I tell you what, that's what you're going to see a lot of in the future of those two kids.
Kev.
In the number crazy world of baseball today, how much does it mean for a pitcher to get stretched out and show a little toughness, and what does that mean for the whole team? And you've had two straight, you know, a couple of nights of that. What does that do for everybody?
Kevin, that's a great question. I think it means a lot to the team. I'll tell you where it means a lot. It means a lot to the pitching staffs, and not just here. It means a lot to those guys that are sitting in Vegas, because make no mistake about it, they're looking at the box scores, and when they see that, wow, they're expected to throw 115 to 100 pitches, 120 pitches a night. When they see that and they see what these guys are doing, it catches on. And it becomes something that's, you know, organizational wide, where, look, you got to learn how to pitch. You got to learn how to get through tough times when you're tired. That's what Steven did in the 7th inning. He was getting tired. You saw his balls were starting to come up in the zone, but yet he, you know, between pitches, he took a little extra time and made another good pitch. And that's what you got to do to be successful. But I think for the team, you know, I'll tell you what, guys were rooting for him heavily in that dugout. So that means a lot.
Jerry?
Terry, at what point do you start thinking about the no-hitter and not having the Santana thing happen again?
5th inning, probably. You know, he was cruising pretty good in the 5th, and you know, I just glanced at the pitch count because of the last start, nothing more than that. I wasn't really worried about, you know, but you know, we really wanted to cut him back tonight because of the 120 the last time. And I looked up there and I saw 65 or 70, and I said, crap. Here we go again.
Ed?
Terry, there was some concern not that long ago whether Steven was even going to make it through the season. Are you more secure off these last 2 starts with that?
I am, Ed, and I think he is also. I asked him, you know, I don't know if you guys noticed, but in the 8th inning he started to give you this kind of stuff, and I'm thinking, oh boy, don't tell me he's getting stiff, because, you know, again, he's trying to get cooled down a little bit, and, you know, as we've seen, when you're sweating that much and you go to kind of cool down, you can get stiff pretty quickly. And so, but he said he wasn't. He just said he was getting tired. So that was, we were lucky that we came out of it the way we did.
Dave?
Terry, having been through the Santana situation before, is it sort of a comforting or reassuring feeling that you're not even going to come close to letting that happen again? You know what decision you'll make. You're not worried about the fans or what anyone else thinks.
No, I can't, Dave. You know, Johan's was different. Johan had just come off shoulder surgery. A little different story. I mean, Steven, even though Steven but he had the bone spurs. But I still, and I can't get away from it, Dave, because of my background in player development. I can't stop looking at the big picture. And I'm not going to sacrifice this kid's next year for one more inning that all of a sudden, especially when you know he's getting tired. And as we know, that's when injuries are going to occur, when you start to get fatigued. So I wasn't going to let that happen. But I didn't have any particular number in mind to shut him down at. I just was going to read the situation.
Tyler?
Terry, big picture, when you think of where you were the other afternoon, the first inning of this series, and how you bounced back a little bit that night, 1-2, getting some guys healthier coming up, how much different is your outlook now compared to what it was after the last Arizona game?
Tyler, that's baseball, to be honest. I mean, the energy kicked up a little bit. We had played a couple good games. Even the night we gave up the 5 in the first, we came back in that game and made it close. We had I heard a couple of comments on the bench when Jose scored that run late in the game when he stole second and then went to third on the throw and scored on the wild pitch. I heard somebody say, "We've needed that." We needed that, and that's what he can do, and that's why he's such a valuable guy. And as you said, so a couple of guys are going to start getting healthy. We're going to see Yo this week, and if we can keep pitching the way we're pitching, it's going to be fun to watch the last 6 weeks.
Dave.
Terry, you have more of a personal situation with Santana, but whenever the managers go into this now, half the people say they're crazy for not letting him go for it, and the other half say they're crazy for pushing him. It seems like the most unwinnable situation for a manager. Is it one of the harder decisions, do you think?
Oh, yeah, there's no question. And again, I think, had he, like his last start, maybe through 96 or 98, I would have rode him to 120 today. But because of what he did the other day, and remember the first 2 innings, he really had to work hard to get out of those innings in the last start. So I wasn't going to tax him that much today. And, I told Dan after the 7th inning, I said, we got to keep this pitch count under control. And he nodded and turned around and walked away because he didn't want any part of that decision.
Last one, Anthony.
So, Terry, having said all that, the guys were rooting in the dugout, but in your heart, what were you rooting for in terms of the no-hitter?
I was hoping he was getting to the 9th inning with a no-hitter. I wanted to see the energy in the crowd, and I know how disappointed everybody is with the way things have happened, what's occurred this summer. But this is still a good team. Expectations are still high. We still were the National League champions. That's never going to go away, and the future's still here with DeGrom and Matz and Syndergaard and Matt Harvey, and we got some kids coming and. So, I was just said, boy, I just hope he starts the 9th inning with a no-hitter. I'd like to see what happens.